Today I'm spending a chill day in Suchitoto. Gonna be here the entire day. I actually got a lot of work done in the morning. Some stuff that I had to prepare for going to San Salvador. In addition, also had to do some emails, get all that stuff done, making sure the company is moving smoothly. Today's actually really nice. It's nice to take a break from like touring and doing all these different things. And yesterday was a very emotional day. So I'm glad I get to spend a little bit of time here in Suchitoto and also make some videos for you guys, more tips and advice if you are traveling in El Salvador and you're going to this region. I can share a little bit more information today, and particularly for people that are coming here for the first time. I think it's gonna be a lot of helpful advice. So my first tip is traveling to Suchitoto. I think it's about a half day, maybe a day experience at most. It's a very small town. It's super quaint. It's beautiful in that way. And a lot of the people here are extremely nice. I've felt very, very safe walking these streets. Of course, there are, the traditional security. There's like some broken glass on top of the roofs so people don't climb up there. There are some barbed wire to prevent, people from trying to enter your house that way. But at the same time, just walking around here, I just see a lot of people that are going to school, see a lot of people that are very innocent, just kind of conducting business in these things. So I personally think that Suchitoto, from all the places I've traveled, is very safe from what I've felt at least. Also, I'm staying in a hotel called Casa del Abuela, and I can include a link to that down below if you'd like to check it out. But basically, it's right by the main center, right by the church. So I'm pretty much just staying around, a couple block radius here around the center, which is why I think it's a little bit safer. So my first tip here is understanding that this is kind of a smaller town. Beautiful, lots of cool things you can pick up at a gift shop, lots of cool little goodies, and also get a sense of the town here in El Salvador. And in addition, it's about an hour, I would say, away from San Salvador and about 2 hours from where I was before, which is Santa Ana. So if you're interested in exploring some of the restaurants here and some of the cool things to do, I'd recommend going to 1800. This is like a restaurant and a hotel. You'll see in some of my other vlogs that I have this really nice view all over the lake right around here. So if you're interested in getting that same view, just go to the restaurant 1800. You can check it out on Google Maps, it'll take you there. But that's really beautiful. In addition, the place that I'm staying, Casa de Abuela, or it's Abuela, sorry, Casa de Abuela, I think. This place is also functions as a cafe and like a souvenir shop. So they have really good food there, they have really good coffee. It's a little bit more pricey than some of the other places around here, but that's also because, they're kind of catering to Westerners and tourists like me. But even then, to pick out some souvenirs, it's really cheap. So you can go there if you want to check out some souvenirs and also get some coffee or get breakfast or even get lunch. It's a great place to go. Now, one of the questions I've been getting pretty frequently from some of my friends back in the United States is it all right to have your camera out, or is it okay to show signs of wealth? Signs of wealth being like my sunglasses, or maybe even just how I'm dressed, or the fact that I can spend money, really anything that sort of gives away the fact I'm an American and that kind of stuff. From what I found, this is sort of my honest answer, I'm not going anywhere that's really that dangerous. I specifically am only going to very touristy centric locations that I know there are no signs of gangs or anything like that. So initially I was very hesitant to take out my camera like this, or I was initially very hesitant to use my actual drone. But the more I've been here, the more I've realized people just kind of leave me alone. I might get a few looks, I might get some people curious, but no one has ever come up to me or asked me anything, or I've pretty much just been left alone. In addition, 2 days ago when I had that horrible car accident, our car basically was hit from the back, the rear end, while we were on the way to Suchitoto. So it was hit from the back end, and we went spinning. It's kind of scary. We went spinning. The guy behind us was denying any kind of responsibility, and basically we had to get the police involved. So when that happened, I was kind of freaking out because I'm like, we're on this major highway. But while there were some stairs, a lot of people actually stopped to try to help us. So we had one guy who stopped, who was making sure that we were okay, everything was going fine. We had another person stop who actually was offering to translate for us if we didn't speak Spanish or someone in the group didn't speak Spanish. So people were actually really helpful, and that kind of surprised me. I even expected, just to be honest, the guy who hit us, I really expected him to just take off. Why would you stay? So he didn't. He was, I guess, responsible in that way. And it really defied, I guess, a lot of my initial thoughts about the country. These people were very helpful. Everyone I've gone has been super nice to me. And while I think, you know, I can't say that the entire country is like that, there's obviously some places that are very dangerous. People here also are really willing to help, and they're trying to get more tourism, and they're trying to be nice, I think, for that reason, and even help out when you don't speak Spanish. At the same time, you know, you really do have to figure out a lot yourself. While I am saying that, you know, I've had to get around where no one speaks English. I've had to use my Spanish speaking abilities, and if I didn't have a tour guide yesterday or the day before, I would have totally gotten lost. So keep that in mind, you know, with a grain of salt. Things are great here, but also be aware of the dangerous areas, and just don't be as freaking out as I was before I actually came on this trip. So right now I'm at Posada de Suchitoto. This is the lake that you might have seen in some of my other videos. I also realized that my lens has a little bit of gunk on it, so I apologize if that kind of messed with a little bit of the video quality before. But this is a really beautiful restaurant as well. To the other one that I went to at 1800, you have this really incredible view here. This is really cool, and I also noticed that a lot of people actually aren't at many of these restaurants. I think they really are trying to, you know, drum up tourism, and sometimes they just don't have enough people coming to this town in order to fill so many of these spots and so many of these places. So when you come here, there will be some people, but for the most part, I think a lot of these are empty, particularly during the day. You know, it's a weekday. I think it's Wednesday. So that's also something that's interesting that I noticed when traveling through Central America, is that a lot of the times there might be a really big capacity, like lots and lots of people could be at this place, but in reality only a small handful will actually go, and that's kind of how the business will actually subsist. I was talking about this a lot with my tour guide, the one that took me to Cerro Verde National Park, and he was basically saying that, yeah, people really bank on the weekends, they try to make most of their money then, and they also try to you know, have higher prices so that they can actually subsist with the business. And it is very difficult to do business in El Salvador, not only because of, you know, the political instability, because of you know, some of the other factors like gangs and such demanding rent payments, but in addition, this country, you know, a lot of the money is from local tourism, and locals don't really want to go here unless, you know, they're much more of like a wealthy or upper class. We're seeing a little bit more of tourism from other countries coming here, but it's still not enough to really, I think, sustain and bring healthy income into the country. Still, the major GDP of this country is people in America actually sending money to El Salvador. You know, sending money to their friends and their family, sending money by working in the United States, and shipping it back to El Salvador. So it's kind of an unpleasant reality, but it's true. You know, that's kind of how a lot of these people are able to subsist and function, because there aren't that many jobs, and more money does need to actually come into this country.